Hello, my name's Jenny Luscombe. I'm an alternative health practitioner, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to regulate your emotion. So, over the course of a 10-year period of research and experimentation, I learned a few techniques which enabled me to release trauma. I'd had a really strange and unusual experience when I was in my late 30s where I suddenly had access to a boatload of suppressed memories that I previously hadn't had access to. So I was in this situation where my head was flooded with information from the past, and I had to join the dots, and it was really frightening and really difficult, and I didn't really understand what was happening. And a therapist told me that I could learn to use certain techniques myself to work through the trauma, and I'm really glad that she did. I didn't actually believe her, but I was desperate. So quite a lot of clients come to me when they've tried everything, when they've done all the mainstream stuff, all the psychotherapy for like 30 years. They've done everything right, they've followed advice, and they're still suffering and they're still struggling. So over this 10-year period, I managed to heal myself from complex PTSD, anxiety disorder, and postnatal depression. Now, a number of things happened that I didn't bargain for, to my surprise, as a byproduct of the processes that I'd learnt to use. I also accidentally lost weight without even trying. I reversed my own aging process. I look younger now than I did 10 years ago. And I also permanently healed myself of chronic back pain that my doctor told me that I would have forever. Now, I could have believed him, but I didn't. And when I was using these processes, I never in a million years thought that it would change me physically, because one of the main processes I was using EFT tapping, which stands for emotional freedom techniques. And I thought, well, emotional freedom techniques, like I had loads of emotion to move, it made sense to me. But I remember speaking to my trainer when I decided that I was going to train, because I found it amazing. And I said to her, is it possible that this tapping has helped me with my back pain? Expecting to be kind of laughed out of the room. And there are a number of other people there. And she said, of course, Jenny. So all that's been going on for you is that, you know, when you've been working on your negative emotion, you've been releasing the negative emotion that had manifested physically in your body. So I thought, wow, so I came to the conclusion, and many other people have, across the world, globally, that actually everything that is a physical manifestation, disease, chronic pain, whatever it is, autoimmune, it's all energy, it's all emotion, it's unprocessed emotion, it's thoughts, feelings and emotions that we haven't processed, and we haven't processed it because nobody taught us how. And basically today in this video I'm going to teach you 5 ways to emotionally regulate, which if you make this a practice, it will lead you to permanent healing. This is not just a coping mechanism. Nobody wants a life that they have to learn how to cope with. You deserve a life where you're in control and you get to shape the life that you're looking for. 1. If you can identify the emotions that you're experiencing, it probably isn't just one thing. It could be a mixture, for example, of fear, anger, confusion, humiliation, all at the same time. Identify them. If you don't know what you're feeling, then I don't know is an emotional experience in its own right. So say out loud to yourself, that's anger, that's anxiety, that's fear. Because this way you're starting to separate yourself from the emotion. The emotion isn't you. Most of us identify with the emotion, and this is one of the reasons that we stay stuck. Emotion is a temporary experience. Now, we make it permanent by not dealing with it, but it was always designed to be a temporary experience that if we bring all our attention to it, it will actually start to process and reduce immediately in that moment. So the only reason that we get stuck in suffering and emotion is because we don't look at it, because we have beliefs about it. We've been taught not to look at it. We've been led away from ourselves, and we've been taught to put our power external to us, to the doctor, to the people in authority. It doesn't work. So, emotion is happening for us. By examining your emotion, you liberate yourself and you enable your full potential to be actualized, as opposed to permanently keeping yourself stuck, which is what most people on the planet do, by not engaging with it and making themselves wrong and bad that it's even happening at all. So don't do that. 2, ask yourself, how do I know I'm feeling this? So any amount of witnessing yourself and observing yourself is going to serve you really well, because many of us drink the wine, we smoke the spliffs, whatever it is, we eat the food, we do everything we can to avoid the emotion. So start to examine your thoughts and beliefs about the situation and your thoughts and beliefs about yourself, but pay particular attention to the sensation in your body. Now, trauma is cellular. This is why when I started to release my trauma, I started to look different and I started to feel different. So the pain I had in my body left and the wrinkles I had left, because the toxicity, the emotional toxicity that had built up in my cells released. My body didn't need to hold on to it anymore because I observed and witnessed all of it. I processed it. I dealt with it. I let go of the baggage. So pay particular attention to sensation, because this is your body communicating with you. Sensation is everything. So your body is actually a large proportion of your subconscious mind. Trauma is a mind-body experience. Sensation actually connects you to your body memory and your body consciousness. It connects you to the emotional root of your crisis, which when you bring your awareness to it, this is how the permanency of your healing can come about. So ask yourself, where is the sensation of this? What does it feel like? So, for example, you might have anxiety in the chest, or anger in the neck and shoulders, or fear down in the stomach. Sometimes people have sensation in their legs. So identify what's the sensation. So is it a pain? Is it a tingle? Is it a throb? Is it a heaviness? Is there a metaphor connected to it? Like a lot of people say to me in sessions, it feels like a black hole, or it feels like a vice grip, or it's like a red mist or something like that. So ask yourself, what colour is it? Is it static? Is it moving? How is it moving? So if you touched it with your fingers, what would the texture be? What does it feel like? And ask yourself, if you're not quite sure what you're feeling or what the sensation is, something has led you to be looking at yourself. So ask yourself, if I can't fully feel this and I can't tune into myself, why would that be? When could that have happened to me that I disconnected from myself? So ask yourself, why am I blocking it? And you will have good reason. So ask yourself, why am I suppressing it? Why am I denying it? Am I denying it? Am I rejecting it? Am I disowning it? So if you are, you will have good reasons. So bringing your awareness to this will get you everywhere. So maybe you were taught to do that. Maybe you had to do that to stay safe. Maybe you weren't allowed to feel and express emotion. So maybe you have unhelpful beliefs about the emotion itself. Maybe like the majority of the human race, you think that if you allow the emotion, it will annihilate you. It won't. The opposite will happen. If you want peace and progress in your life, you have to make a practice of allowing the emotion. All the emotion is a temporary experience that leads to permanent healing. Until you make it permanent in your body by not addressing it and not expressing it. So that's what physical symptoms actually are. They are the thoughts, feelings and emotions that you're trying to stop from happening, that you're denying are even there. So your body is actively communicating with you by showing you that this is what you're doing. So you're not going to hear this from your doctor. I mean, think about it. How many people do you know that are not getting healing results from their doctor? I mean, I'm surrounded by them, and I know that most of you are. So this is because your doctor doesn't understand emotion. He or she they haven't been trained to understand emotion. It's not their remit. So they're looking at surface symptoms. You cannot heal a surface symptom without addressing the cause. And if you do heal a surface symptom, it's only going to come back with a different surface symptom or with an even bigger problem than the one that you had in the first place. So it doesn't matter how many years of university they went through. Look at the NHS. What they're doing isn't working, and that's clear. So, number 3, actively work on allowing the emotion. So this might take you some time depending on how resistant you are. So that word resistant is the key to this, because the number one cause for human suffering in its entirety is resistance. Resistance to the emotion. So basically, when we were kids and we were having the terrible twos and we threw ourselves down on the floor in Tesco's, if our parents had got down on the floor with us and said, "Oh, you know, I get you. Like, when I feel angry, I get really hot and like really red in the face, and it's okay to be angry. And when you feel angry, it's because something feels unfair. And unfortunately, you can't always get everything that you want. And this is the feeling that you get when that happens. And it isn't wrong or bad to feel angry. And I know exactly what you're going through. And if you just feel it and shout and scream, you'll move that energy in your body, and then you'll feel better. You'll feel different if you let it happen. And then you learn from that experience. So if that had happened, none of us would have any kind of issues now. If we'd been taught to express and honour our emotion and to learn from it, we would have been taught about where our boundaries are. So the scary thing about the way that we've all suppressed emotion is that we now all people please, and we give ourselves away, we give our power away, we think we have to compromise all the time, we agree to pain for other people. It doesn't work. So resistance is the key. It's the key to everything. It's worth spending some time on this, because the answer to all your problems is the other side of your resistance. So know that the emotion in your body, it has messages for you, and you're never going to get them if you don't allow the emotion. So this is reversing the habits and the beliefs of a lifetime. So be gentle with yourself and listen to what your emotion has to say, because this is where we learn where our boundaries are. If we don't listen to our emotion, it leaves us open to abuse. It leaves us open to being hijacked by other people. We don't have to push our emotion down. This teaches us where our boundaries are. This teaches us our sovereignty. So your body is calling you. This is a natural system in our body, which we've all been taught to ignore, and it's got us in a right old mess. So your emotion is calling you, and the voice of your emotion, it's only going to get louder and louder through more intense emotion, more intense physical symptoms, until you listen. So the only way out is in. 4, once you've allowed the emotion to be there, go directly into it. Be the observer and the witness of your experience. So imagine walking into the heaviness or into the pain or into the black hole that your body is showing you. You're not wrong or bad that this emotion is happening. Allow it. Allow it to engulf you. Imagine surrendering to it. Allow it to show you what you need to see. Ask yourself, when was the first time that I ever felt this exact same feeling? Emotionally, in your thoughts, and physically in your body. So this sensation as well. When did I feel this exact same way? And let your mind give you a memory. Let your body speak to you. So what is this making you think about? Try and see all the past versions of you. Maybe imagine like one of you for every year of your life. Children versions, inner adult versions. Whatever this is making you think about by being in the emotion is connecting you to the root of your suffering. And it's easy to do. Now, a lot of people think that connecting with your subconscious mind in this way is hard to do or even scary, and it's neither of them. This is for us. This is what we were always meant to be doing. So let the memory come up like a bubble that rises to the surface. You don't have to chase it. Sit in the experience of being in the emotion, allowing it. Ask yourself, what does this remind me of? When did I first feel this in my life? Boom, there's the memory. So you don't have to try, it will just be there. 5. Once you've identified that part of you, so it might be your 5-year-old you, it might be your 20-year-old you, this is your inner child or your inner adult, send compassion and love to this part of you. Listen to them and observe the emotion that they're feeling. What did they make it mean about themselves? So try not to be in their head looking through their eyes. See them as a separate being. See them from your adult perspective. Was it your fault that this happened? What could have been going on for the other people in this scenario that you might not have known at the time? What information could you give to this little you that could help them if they could hear you? So allow yourself to receive information and aha moments that can help join some dots for you. So what you're doing is you're changing in your subconscious mind, you're changing the experience of that thing from a subjective childlike experience to an objective, much more global set of circumstances with more understanding. So stay there observing and witnessing for as long as you can. Emotion is often like layers of an onion. So once you've perceived anger, for example, underneath that there's often sadness. And all the emotions, they come in layers. So stay there observing and witnessing for as long as you can. What did this part of you need that they just weren't getting? Imagine giving them that. So find ways that you can give that to them. And speak to them, have a conversation. Tell them that you accept them, whatever they do, however many mistakes they make. Tell them that you've got their back. Give them a hug. Let them feel heard by you. Notice how you can actually see that part of you experiencing contact with you. Now this is like a waking dream. This is your subconscious mind. In some ways this is like shamanic healing. Notice how good it feels. Notice how the original emotion and the original sensation feels now. Different and better. So rinse and repeat. Use this process on repeat each time and make it your own. Each time you do it, you'll be approaching yourself from a new healed perspective each time. And the more you go in, the better it gets. Now these processes can change your life if you let them. So to summarise, 1, identify the emotion. 2, how do you know it's there? How do you know the thoughts, the beliefs and the sensations are there? What are you experiencing? 3, allow it. 4, when did this same feeling, this exact same experience happen to you before? Witness it, observe it in your former self. 5, send compassion and love to your former self. Start a conversation with them. Give them what they need. Now, the amazing reason why this works, because I know that a lot of you are going to be going, yeah, but that's just my imagination. So, imagination is everything. The reason why this works is because for your body, time doesn't exist. Time doesn't actually exist anyway, but that's another video. So, if you imagine meeting the needs of your inner child, your body doesn't know that that isn't real, that it isn't happening now. So, it's the same as if, and I know that you've all had the same experience, where imagine you're asleep in bed, you're safe in bed, you're dreaming of something terrible happening. So let's say you're falling off the edge of a cliff. Safe in bed, your body doesn't know that you're not really on the edge of a cliff. To your body, you're still having all the same physiological experiences. Fight, flight, freeze is happening. You're sweating, you're shouting, you're screaming, whatever's going on. Your body doesn't know that it isn't real that you're hanging off the edge of a cliff. Your body in bed is freaking out because it thinks it's real. So you're having all the same reactions as if that was really happening. You're in survival mode and your body's activated as if it's really happening. So if your body thinks it isn't real, if your body thinks it's real, your body thinks. So your body has a consciousness. And this is the most hugely powerful realization to have. Your subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of what is going on for you. Now, a lot of us are only harnessing like 5 to 10% using the conscious mind. That's very limiting. So tap into your body consciousness because it will heal you. So, if you would like to book a therapy session with me using EFT tapping or the emotion code or muscle testing or quantum healing for permanent healing from any emotional, mental or physical issue, then the link to book is below. If you would like to book a one-to-one training session in how to use the very powerful processes of parts work and inner child work or muscle testing so that you can work on yourself for free therapy forever, it's the same booking link. And then all of that is in the video below as well. If you'd like to try my very generously priced interactive step-by-step video course to learn how to self-heal, to learn how to do all the inner work yourself, for the cost of one session, you can find the link below for everything that you need. So be your own guru. Don't outsource your health to somebody external to you who might not have the full picture. And if you access this course, basically you get 10 years worth of research and experimentation so you can hit the ground running and so that you don't take as long as I did. So if you'd like to follow me and get access to special offers and exclusive free information, I've also started a newsletter, so the link for that is below. So as well as my focus on emotional health, I've also become aware of, through clients actually, how cellular toxicity from heavy metals in our environment is affecting us all in multiple ways. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in our food. So I've been blown away by the testimonials, particularly from parents of autistic and developmentally delayed children, from using products like Pure Body Extra. So these products are helping children speak for the first time, use eye contact for the first time, feel happier, change their behaviours, interacting more. So these zeolite products from Touchstone Essentials, The Good Inside, are solving problems for people of all ages that they thought were unsolvable because they were told that they were unsolvable. So if you have any chronic condition that is physical, emotional, mental, cognitive, social, autoimmune, pain, diabetes, dementia, whatever it is. Check out the link below to find out what these products can do for you. Seriously, remember your medical team are just people, and I'm not dissing your doctor, and I'm not saying don't listen to them. I'm saying other infinite sources of information are available, especially when your doctor repeatedly has no answers for you or your loved ones. So any kind of disturbance in your life, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, social, it either has an emotional root or is linked to toxicity from heavy metals, or both. So I've given you 2 pathways to go down. You're not helpless. The power is in your hands. If you feel like you've benefited from this video and you like the new perspective and self-mastery that it's given you, then please help me grow my channel by liking and subscribing. Thank you very much for listening.